Yo, what's happening? It's D Jeff, the Doctor of Sports, coming to you live from YouTube with the new episode of the Sports is My Medicine podcast. Every Sunday from here until the end of the football season, I'm going to bring you live content about the NFL season, about college football, about NBA basketball, about MLB baseball, about NHL hockey, whatever you can think of, I'm going to bring it to you. Why? Because I'm the doctor of sports. But before I get started, where's my theme music? All right. So here we go. We're gonna start this off with a little quick recap of last week. Last week I brought you the NFC and AFC East preview. I think I had in the AFC East Buffalo winning the division. In the NFC East, I got the Philadelphia Eagles winning the division. So if you want to check that out, go ahead and go back to last week's episode. You can check out the preview of the NFC and AFC East preview. This week we're doing the AFC South and the NFC South. We're gonna try to make this quick and fast for you guys. So we're gonna start off with the Jacksonville Jaguars in the AFC South, who won the division last year. They was 9-8. Trevor Lawrence took a huge step forward. Many expect him to take a bigger step this year into that superstar status. He's been talked about since high school, since Clemson, and now he's finally putting it all together. Uh, that now they got rid of that bullshit coach Urban Liar, and Doug Peterson stepped in and got that guy going. They got Calvin Ridley back from suspension, and then Christian Kirk proved last year. He proved me wrong. I never thought he could be a number one, but he played like a number one last year. And between him and Calvin Ridley coming back, that offense can be pretty damn good. So I expect big things from that offense. The defense should be good with Josh Allen. Then they got the number one overall pick from last year, Trayvon Walker. So defensively, they should still be very, very solid. It's a very weak division. I think the division is basically theirs to lose. But I expect them to run away with it, make the playoffs for the second straight season, and the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to go 10-7. So 10-7 is my prediction for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Tennessee Titans. They're the epitome of average. Um, if you think about the last 5 years, they've been good enough to make the playoffs, but not good enough to get to that next level. So they're always picking in the middle of the pack in the draft. They might win a division, they may not, but they always make the playoffs. But having a mediocre quarterback like Ryan Tannehill is the reason why I believe they've been held back. He has good regular seasons, but they rely so much on Derrick Henry that you know it's they rely so much on Derrick Henry. You can't do that in the playoffs. At some point in the playoffs, you got to be able to make plays with your quarterback, and he hasn't been able to do that. Um, to me, unless the defense is like the 85 Bears or those defenses of the Ravens team, you can't have a quarterback like Ryan Tannehill. He has to be able to make plays. I haven't seen him make enough of those. They did pick up wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins. I expect him to make noise if he can stay healthy and if he can contribute the way I expect him to contribute. Um, Malik Willis, I looked at it, watched him this weekend. He looked pretty good. Looked better than he did last season. Showed accuracy, better footwork. Looked like he had a better command of the offense. So Malik Willis could be a factor going down the stretch if Tannehill don't do what he's supposed to do or is not as good as they would like for him to be. Um, don't expect nothing from Will Levis. They drafted him out of Kentucky. I don't think he's going to be a factor this season. They will need to find a way to rest Derrick Henry, though. You can't have Derrick Henry running 400, 350 yards a season. He's getting a little long in the tooth for running back position, and we know how they've been treating running backs lately. So um, I think they'll be 9-8. I think they'll have a very good season because they do have some pretty good players offensively and defensively. They were 7-10 last season, but I think a lot of that is because they had a lot of injuries. So I combine the Colts and the Texans because nobody expect anything out of either one of them. Last season, I think the Colts was 4-12. The Texans was like 3-13. Had 3-4 in the draft as far as picks. Um, so Texans took C.J. Stroud. Colts took Richardson. Both teams are bringing in rookie quarterbacks, so they're definitely are rebuilding. Neither look good in their preseason debut. Neither C.J. Stroud or Anthony Richardson. They both look overwhelmed, but it is just a preseason, so I don't expect that to be an issue. The craziness surrounding Jonathan Taylor, though, and Jim Irsay, the coach owner, the organization is falling all over itself. The only question for the coach is, are you gonna, since you're going nowhere, are you gonna start Richardson? He only started a few games at Florida with like 13 games. Everybody talked about his freakish athleticism at the combine, but he didn't on the field. He looked good. He looked athletic, but as a quarterback, he didn't look accurate. Didn't look poised. Made some terrible decisions on the field at Florida. But being such a freakish athlete, you got to play that guy. But if the coach feel like he needs to sit and wait. If they think for some reason they have a chance to win a division with Gardner Minshew as the quarterback, who's their backup right now, then hey, maybe they ought to do that. But I expect them to start Richardson. Um, but I do expect them to be about 5-12 this year. I don't think they're going to have a very good season. Houston, they got his franchise quarterback, like I said earlier, C.J. Stroud. They got a franchise edge rusher, linebacker, Will Anderson Jr. from Alabama. It's important that those two guys develop, continue to develop all year, and then they'll have staples on the offense and the defense for years to come. But that's down the road. So unfortunately, it's going to be another bad season for the Houston Texans. Probably about 4-13 is what I expect. But if they're 4-13, that'll give them a top pick, and maybe, just maybe, they'll take Marvin Harrison Jr. and reunite him with his college quarterback C.J. Stroud. So we'll see. That was the AFC South. We're going to go over to the NFC South. I believe this is the division where every team is basically starting a new quarterback, with the exception of Atlanta. Desmond Ridder did play a lot last season, but he didn't play that often. So he's stepping in. He stepped in for Mariota after Mariota got hurt. He played okay, didn't play great, but they gave him a lot of weapons. But we're going to start with the Saints. The Saints were 7-10 last season, and in my opinion, they're the cream of the crop in this division. They're the best of the worst. I don't think the division is that good, but the Saints, I believe, are a very good team. With Alvin Kamara, he's going to be out for the first 3 games. I think we all know that. If you're a sports fan, you know that very well, due to his legal issues and troubles he got out here in Vegas. But he's suspended for the first 3 games, so expect Jamal Williams, the old Detroit Lion, who had 17 rushing touchdowns last season, to get a lot of work. Kendre Miller, I think he went to TCU. He's going to get some work. And then if Michael Thomas can stay healthy with Chris Olave coming back in his second season after having a tremendous first season, they're going to be good. Taysom Hill still there, being that Swiss Army knife, going to put him at quarterback, running back, tight end, wide receiver. They're going to throw him all over the field, I'm pretty sure. Defense led by Cam Jordan, Marshawn Lattimore. They're going to be a force. The defense has been good for the last few years, so I don't expect anything to change. I think the Saints win the division with a 10-7 record. So Saints 10-7. We'll go to the Atlanta Falcons. Talked about Desmond Ridder a little bit earlier. young talent on that roster. A lot of young talent, especially on the offensive side of the football. The so-called experts are a lot of them are picking Atlanta to win this division. I think that is predicated on what Desmond Ritter is going to be able to do. But you got tight end Kyle Pitts. You got wide receiver Drake London. You got the top 10 pick Bijan Robinson, running back out of Texas, who I think is a stud. And I think he's going to be a tremendous asset to fantasy football owners. But they're all expected to be heavy contributors to help Desmond Ritter along. Um, and if they contribute the way people are projecting them to contribute, then they could damn well, very well win this division. Defensively, they do have a lot of talent, and they will compete, and they'll be better than expected. I don't expect them to win division. They'll be in the playoff hunt, 9-8 for the Falcons. I like Desmond Ritter coming out of Cincinnati. I thought my Lions should have drafted him at one point, but he's in a hell of a situation. He's got a hell of an opportunity to do something special out there in Atlanta with all that talent. So, but I think they'll be 9-8. They'll finish second in the division. Um, Tampa Bay, the Buccaneers. People forgot. People have forgotten. And that's what they do. This is a what have you done for me lately league. So I expect I expect people to forget when somebody has played well and then the last 2 or 3 seasons hasn't. Um, because it is a what have you done for me lately league. And Baker Mayfield actually won a playoff game in Cleveland. People seem to forget that happened. That really happened. Baker Mayfield, number one pick from Oklahoma. And then he almost beat the Chiefs in the playoffs too. So I believe Baker Mayfield injuries played a major role in his decline. So we'll have to see what he's going to do over in Tampa Bay. He has excellent receivers. We know that Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. If those two guys stay healthy, they'll help Baker tremendously. Um, if Baker struggles, though, they got Kyle Trask from Florida. He can come in, step in, and finally get an opportunity to play. They drafted him a couple years ago. Defensively, they still got a lot of good players: Devin White, Levante David, Antoine Winfield Jr. They drafted Kalaji Kancey from, I believe he went to TCU. I'm not sure. I can't remember the school, but he jumped up in the draft. Everybody loved him, especially after the combine. He tore it up. So everybody was after this Kancey kid, and they got him on the defensive end. The defense might need to carry this team. Unfortunately, I don't think it'll be enough, and they'll finish 7-10. And then the last team in that division, the Carolina Panthers, who drafted Bryce Young, number one quarterback from Alabama, as we all know. He didn't look very good in his first preseason game either. There's going to be some growing pains with all these quarterbacks, but when you draft a quarterback 1, 2, 4, you got to play him. You got to put him on the field. So I expect Bryce to be on the field. I expect him to develop, and I expect him to play pretty well. He got some talent around him. Miles Sanders over from Philadelphia is be running back. Adam Thielen over from the Vikings is going to play the wide receiver position. DJ Chark, if he can stay healthy, he was in Detroit last year, did very well for the Lions after he came back from injury, but he has to stay healthy, and Bryce Young is gonna need those guys. So hopefully they can stay healthy and they can keep that number one pick, Bryce Young, upright, and he can have a good season. Defense will struggle, especially in the secondary, but they do got Brian Burns at linebacker, and then Shaq Thompson along with Derek Brown in the middle as a defensive tackle. They do play a 3-4 scheme, so that nose tackle was very important in that defense. So that defense could be respectable, but again, I think having a rookie quarterback is going to hurt them, and they're going to finish 6-11. So that is the NFC South and the AFC South preview. We went through them all, and I feel good about it. Look, I do these preview shows during the preseason, and I don't even know who's going to make the team and who's not going to make the team. So this is totally an opinionated piece or opinionated uh, This is my opinion, basically, of what I believe is going to happen, regardless of who makes the team and who does and who does not make these teams. We're just in the second week of preseason, and I'm in the second week of making my predictions, and I feel good about it. I think I know enough about the game. I kind of know enough about who's going to make the team and who's not. I think if you're a football fan in general, you will know, if you're paying attention. You know who the guys are that's going to be out there on a weekly basis, and then the guys that barely make the team or that does make the team, they're not really going to factor into win losses anyway. So it's okay to make early season predictions. It's okay to be wrong. I'm not going to be right all the time. I'm going to take some lumps. I expect people to be in my inbox or in my news feed or and in my DMs telling me I'm silly, I'm a clown, I don't know what I'm talking about. Bring it on. I welcome it, but just know I'm not gonna stop because this is what I love to do. And I love making predictions. I love talking football. I love talking sports, which is why I am the doctor of sports. And this is the Sports is My Medicine podcast. So again, Sports is My Medicine podcast every Sunday from here on out. If I'm not gonna have an episode for whatever reason, I'll let people know. So subscribe to the channel, share it. There's a lot of podcasters out there. There's a lot of people out there talking sports. If you're not a celebrity, you typically don't get the love that celebrities get when they're talking their shit. But I can talk with the best of them. So I don't care who it is. I know my shit. So if you're listening to Skip Bayless or Stephen A. Smith, or if you're listening to Cameron and Mace or um, whoever it may be, tune in to D Jeff, the Doctor of Sports, because I know what I'm talking about, and it's fun. It's okay. You don't have to like what I say, but take a listen. You might learn something. But next week, next Sunday, we're gonna have week 3 of the NFL preview show. I'll let you guys know which two divisions I'll be previewing by the middle of the week. Get you guys ready for next week. I'm going to share this video. It's the Doctor of Sports. Subscribe to the channel. DADROFSPORTS. The Sports is My Medicine podcast. Next Sunday, we'll be back. NFL preview, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. Pacific. So don't miss out. Check me out, the Doctor of Sports. Thanks for listening. AFC South, NFC South preview. It's football season, baby. Let's get it.